The Zone Coverage Podcast Network.
The Andy Lucan Reef Football Machine.
Autobots, transform! I like this kind of party!
Great cash, homie.
Starts now.
Happy 4th of July out there, everyone, and the Football Machine crew is getting a much-deserved Wednesday off, but we still got hashtag content for your ears. We compiled a couple episodes of some of the best clips from the offseason so far, and it's relatively evergreen, although I think we talk about the Warriors sweeping the Cavs, but it happens. So stay safe out there. Enjoy yourself. Have a hot dog. Have a couple of refreshments, and enjoy the fireworks, and also enjoy this. Something we also like is, so we did up a top 10, and what we did is have the guys rank up a top 15, and then we made a composite list, beep, bop, 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 boop. Some hilarious ones, so Mike Remmers and Sendejo, and also just the general right guard spot, they got votes. It's kind of funny. Yep. Kyle Rudolph fell out of the top. Actually, let's go through the top 15. So Kyle Rudolph clocked in at 15, Dalvin 14, Elfline at 13, Sheldon at 12.
Y'all voted for Kyle Rudolph?
I didn't. He's low. We'll talk about it. But basically, it's a top 11. There's a big separation between Barr at 11 and Sheldon Richardson at 12. But let's get into the top 10. So at number 10, Eric Hendricks, the $50 million man, coming in, 26 consensus points, 1 point more than Anthony Barr at 25. Why do you guys say Anthony Barr?
I had Anthony Barr. I think I had Anthony Barr ranked. Yeah, I had Anthony Barr ranked higher than Eric.
So I had Kendricks at 9. Yinka had Kendricks at 10. Arif had Kendricks at 11. And then Luke Duke had Kendricks at number 8.
So pretty close. All of us
so it's
right in that range.
So it's
there.
Luke's fault.
It is Luke's fault. What happened?
No, I mean, the reason I had Anthony Barr above Eric Hendricks is because I think the way that he plays is more critical to the scheme. Even if Eric Hendricks is game-to-game or play-to-play, a better linebacker.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Barr has the ability to shut down screens and stuff like that from the middle of the field.
Yeah, because you had Barr at 7. I had him highest at 5. Yinka did not rank Anthony Barr.
I completely forgot about Anthony Barr.
Wait, no.
Shade.
No, that's
so it is Yinka's fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is like when Chris Carter was making like that top 5 wide receiver list, and he forgot Megatron.
Yeah.
Oh. And then he tried to defend it. He's like, I just don't think he's top 5.
Yeah. At least you just came out and were like, yeah, dude, I just kind of forgot.
This whole list is broken now.
Buckeyes for life. OH.
But, I mean, even if I ranked him up, I'd probably put Anthony Barr right at... I'd probably put him at, like, 8.
Say 15.
Yeah, but that would probably put him in the top 10.
It probably would.
Yeah.
But it would probably kick out. It probably would kick out either Reef or Kendricks.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally fine with.
It's all right. The list is tainted, but don't care because I'm not redoing the numbers. Number 9. Numero 9.
list is tainted.
Riley Reef coming in, 27 points. I was highest on him. I had him at 4. And why do
you remembered Riley Reef, but not Anthony Barr? Remembered Mike Remmers?
It was very late.
You got Remmers in there. Wow, you got Remmers in there. I had him at 10. I think that's the kind of general consensus. It feels like, kind of a go-to consistent left tackle. Such an important position.
Yeah.
Not going to blow you away. Not going to make a ton of Pro Bowls, but again, so important to what we want to do, being able to run the football and protect your quarterback.
Yeah. The reason I had Reef so high is
great signing.
Just at that left tackle spot, it might just be, since we survived Khalil and Clemmings, just having
seriously some consistent,
above average, solid, dependable play at that left tackle spot. He really is Iowa. He's like the Ham, where it's like you'll never be wowed by a Ham, but Ham also has a very low floor.
High floor.
Yeah, that's what
high floor. And again, that's exactly what we've needed after what we had to go through the past, 5-6 years.
It was difficult for me. So the reason I didn't have him, so I had him at 14. So the reason I didn't have him in like the top 10, is because it was difficult for me to pick any one individual offensive lineman. I ended up having Pat Elflein ranked the highest out of all the offensive linemen because he makes the line calls, and the run game seems to ebb and flow with not only how well he's playing, but whether or not he's on the field. Riley Reif, I think that it's easier to cover for a tackle than it is for a guard. I'm one of the few people that thinks that if there was a wider variance in play in guards, that guards would be more valuable than tackles. I think that you can maybe hide a tackle a little bit unless you've got two bad tackles. And he's fine. He's in my top 15, obviously. And how he plays is going to impact how the Vikings play, but just not as much as a lot of these other players because you can cover for them, whereas I don't think you can cover if Pat Elflein is just playing badly.
Yeah. So that was Riley Reif. Number 8, ESPN 8, The Ocho. Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, I had Danielle Hunter at 6. I think that he's obviously the future, really on, and he's kind of shown that he's able to play on both sides. I think he's probably maybe a little bit better on the left side, just because he's played majority of that in Everson Griffin and whatnot.
A little bit more comfortable there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more comfortable. But I definitely like the maturation of him. I remember the when Danielle Hunter first got into the league, he was very, very much a stand-up defensive lineman.
And
now he's past couple of years he's definitely put his hand more so in the dirt, which has been nice. He's learned a little bit more.
Muscular hand,
exactly,
like all veiny.
And he's only the fact that he is only 23.
It's so veiny.
He's not quite at his prime just yet. Just think he can play 6 more years and just be getting into his prime.
Isn't he younger than Aude Aruna?
Yeah,
are they both just 23?
Definitely
23.
could be. Yeah, and I think that speaks volumes too for a guy who's only 23. He's really only played 2 full seasons, or where are we at here? 3 full seasons. It's one of those where it's coming off an off year, and for all of us to still have him consensus in the top 10, number 8 even, shows you just, again, when he's on, how good he is, and really just how much potential we all see in him. How good, seriously, how dominant. He could be the best defensive end in the league.
Even though he had a drop-off in sacks, we all know that Hunter had a good year because we all watched. You guys watch the tape.
Appreciate that.
I watch the games. I know what I see with my eyes.
I
don't actually have a life. I just watch football all day. I don't have a social life or anything like that.
Number 7, Everson Griffin. Pretty big jump in consensus points. Everson's had 37. Hunter at 8 had 28. Also funny, Everson was ranked for me, Yank, and Arif at 8, and then Luke had him at 3.
Whoop.
So this is Luke's
I
fault.
mean, that makes sense.
I think it's fair.
I don't think Luke's way off on that. He's important.
Did we get that on tape?
Analysis.
It's going to be my ringtone.
I don't think Luke's that far off. Okay, yeah. The highest
Best
praise
compliment
I
I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, we've ranked him lower, but really, a lot of this has to do with just kind of the recent evidence that's come out that suggests that pass coverage is more important than pass rushing in terms of defense. I want to see a little bit more of it, but this was talked a lot, and so I have Xavier Rhodes, I think, higher than everybody else as a result. But this was talked about a little bit in terms of kind of the Pro Football Focus data that we have. There's really good papers put out by Eric Eager of Pro Football Focus, who's a professor of statistics.
Who?
That friend of the show, Eric Eager,
My man.
that broke down PFF data and found that defensively it is more important to have better pass coverage than it is to have a better pass rush, which is obviously not to say that pass rush is unimportant. I still had Everson Griffin in the top 10, but
And why
with
is
that
exactly
in mind, well, I think it's
just a quick little.
Because I think if you
Layman's
turn it into a 10-on-10 game, it's much more it's hard to obviate a cornerback. It is easier to chip a defensive end and still have a player kind of opening in and all that. And you change the possibilities or how impactful a play can be. If you're taking away a deep threat, for example, the maximum number of yards, unless you're running 4 verts or 3 verts, the maximum number of yards you're going to get on the play is 15. That's what you're fighting for instead of 15 to 30, right? So I think that might be why. I don't know all of the evidence. Sure. There's some. Eric actually got into an argument with Brian Burke at ESPN, who does all their analytics work, developed Total QBR, about
Nerd
this.
fight.
Yeah, about this. And Burke has a solid theoretical foundation for his argument that pass rushers can cut off the play at the point of decision, right? Whereas the quarterback has 5 decisions to make, right? The 5 receivers. Whereas a cornerback can only cut off one of those. And I get why he thinks that way, but because cornerbacks impact essentially every play, and pass rushers impact a fifth of the plays because they don't always get pressure. There's that difference where if you shut down the number one receiver, it might just matter more. So I still want to see kind of more discussion about this.
Just curious.
But if that's the case, then Everson Griffin ranks a little bit lower, and Xavier Rhodes and Harrison Smith rank a little bit higher. But also,
Harry
I
can
think
do it all. If you want him to rush,
exactly.
whatever you need, whatever's in vogue right now, whatever's popular, he can do it.
That said, I put Everson below Anthony Barr, which I think is pretty unusual. I don't think linebackers are usually as important. Put Everson below Anthony Barr because I want to know if he's fully recovered from injury, and I know that the Vikings have multiple ways to create pressure, and that makes all of the pass rushers just a little bit less important. Because I took the important word to heart when I put this list together.
Importante. Next up, Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen, coming in at 43 points. Now with Thielen, I had him 10, Yinka had him 3, Reef 6, and Luke 2.
I had Adam.
Why do I hate Adam Thielen?
I had Adam Thielen at number 3 just because the data definitely supports as far as quarterback play. Wide receivers hugely correlate to quarterbacks playing at a very, very high level as well as wins. Adam Thielen was such a huge part of the Vikings offense last year and the last couple of years.
I mean Case Keenum's accuracy.
Yes. Definitely, yes.
Laser.
And I think he'll continue to be, at least for the next few years, go. So I had him ranked really high just because I think that, I had him ranked 3, not 2, just because I think between the two wide receivers, I think Stephon Diggs can carry the offense a little bit more than Adam Thielen.
He can. He's more explosive for sure. I think it just really comes down to consistency and injuries with Diggs. And vice versa. It kind of opens you up a little bit to make you realize how consistent on the other hand Thielen's been too. And I love the way he wins too, because he's not a matchup guy where week to week it's like, sorry, whatever, Dez, we got a big physical cornerback this week, we may not see you as much in the game plan. Thielen, doesn't matter what type of cornerback, if that cornerback's strength is speed or if it's size and physicality, the technician, right, the route running, that is just, again, in a day and age where a lot of these receivers can get by on just pure freak athleticism. You love to see kind of an old school guy like Thielen be able to, again, win on stuff like great hands, technician, and somebody was it Brad Kelly put out a great
his release?
That was
really good stuff.
And just went frame by frame of different ways he wins. And again, in a pass-happy league, it's so important to have that go-to number one kind of weapon in the passing game. Thielen, certainly that. Again, Diggs, if you were to play 16 games 2 years in a row, you could justify being in that spot. It's great to have two of them, but I think, take Thielen out and you realize, oh my gosh, this passing game without Thielen, oh my gosh, what a complete 180 that would be.
Yeah, Andy just corrected the ranks because I was going to point this out. So he actually tied with Xavier Rhodes for 5th, and he's only 2 points below Stephon Diggs. So no matter how we ranked it, they were going to be really close, and I think that's just like the truth, that they're really close.
Also,
they are. They're really
interesting thing is that Reef Yinka and I all rank Stephon Diggs above Thielen, but also it's like we're sort of splitting hairs at this point.
Right, and that's exactly it. Luke's the only one that has a bigger split, and it's not even that big a split then.
Right. And I think, too, even now, the entire nation or NFL fan base understands that the Vikings do arguably have, if not, top 3, the best 1-2 duo, 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I think so.
With Diggs and Thielen, and that's what we're talking about here, basically splitting hairs.
Yeah, and so the only reason I have Diggs above Thielen is I just think he's just a better receiver, and that's it. If Diggs gets injured, you mentioned that Thielen's a little bit more consistent. After injury, like even a couple of games after he's cleared from injury, Diggs isn't as productive.
Sure.
And so that's kind of an issue. So I totally get why you'd have Thielen above, but I just think Diggs is a better receiver, so I've got him just a hair above Thielen.
As Reef pointed out, tied for 5th, Xavier Rhodes tied with Adam Thielen. I had Rhodes 6, Yinka 7, Reef 3, and Luke 5. Reef was highest on him for some of the reasons that he talked about with Everson.
Coverage.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's not a bunch of receiver duos, especially in the division. So if you can take away the top receiver, it's even more impactful.
Yeah, definitely.
With I think Detroit's the only one where I'm like, oh, they got multiple receivers.
And now Bears are going to start to worry me a little bit, just with we all love Anthony Miller, and then the signing of Allen Robinson, and then Cameron Meredith kind of trailed off a little bit. But what if
there's a bunch of what if. I think with the Bears. Yeah.
Kevin White's still injured.
Kevin White's still a guy.
He's probably going to be injured tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
R.I.P.
But yeah, I think
they signed
I think
the Falcon guy too, right?
Harry Douglas.
Was it Douglas?
No, he's with Titans. Muhammad. No, he didn't. No.
No.
But yeah, I think just slightly more. I think there's an opportunity. That's it for him to shut down a number one receiver that's really impactful. Even more than in other years. I think the schedule has a lot of receivers, a lot of teams where they rely a little bit more on one receiver than on two.
You know how Revis, when he was Darrelle Revis is only 32, by the way. But when he
weird.
Back in the day,
is he still with Kansas City?
I think he's a free agent. But when Revis was Revis, the one guy who could always get him was Stevie Johnson.
I love that. Yeah. It was so funny to me.
Is Marvin Jones that to Xavier?
Maybe. So the biggest. So Marvin Jones's numbers against Rhodes are out of control. Yeah. Even after you remove a play that I think shouldn't count. That's the one where they where Terrence Newman and Xavier Rhodes running into each other. Yeah. Even if you take that away, Marvin Jones has a lot. Maybe that might be
Hard Knock star Marvin Jones. By the way, whatever happened to Larry Black? I remember he broke his ankle and then that was it. Actually, I think that was it for him. Number 4, Stephon Diggs, 45 points. I had him 7. Yinka had him 2. Arif 4, and Luke 6. Yinka, why do you love Stephon?
I love me some system.
This receiver has everything.
I do. It just, I mean, selfishly, I love the swagger that he brings to the team.
Yep.
I think it's his impact on the when he's on the field is clear. I definitely feel more so than Adam Thielen. He can, if let's say Adam Thielen's out for a play, gets injured, I think he can carry the offense a little bit more. You obviously can move him around. He's a nightmare to move around. You can move him in the slot, move him on the outside. He has just played. Some traits to be able to be a little bit of a deep threat as well too.
Diggs is one of the best deep threat guys in the league, which surprises a lot of people. Straight jump ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Too.
And that's what I was going to mention is something that I was a little bit skeptical about Diggs is, first couple of years in the league, he didn't really show himself to be as much of a contested catch kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And definitely last year, you saw him take a huge leap into contested catching.
Week 1, just stemming on your point, not to interrupt, week 1, the Saints game, remember the not one, but two monster licks he
took them away.
And in tight coverage, in contested area, and for him to hold on to those balls, I think on Monday Night Football woke everybody was I think
this was week 1, but this is one of my favorite catches I've ever seen, where the ball was thrown. Basically, it was at the defender essentially, and it was like a 7-yard out or something.
Yeah, 25, 30-yard line-ish?
Maybe.
Okay.
But it was at the sideline, and Diggs at the very last second creates separation, moves back, and catches the ball inside the other guy's frame at the sideline and comes down with the ball. It was one of the best catches I've ever seen. Both Diggs and Thielen have extraordinarily ball tracking and ball awareness and deep, intermediate, short, and that's helped, I think, with their contested catch thing. I'm a little bit worried about whether or not Diggs' contested catch ability is a fluke or if it's not from this last year, because that kind of stuff is subject to a lot of variance. But I think he's always been a little bit better at contested catches than we've kind of given him credit for. He just happened to have his best year. He'll probably regress, down a little bit, but he'll still be good at it, and that's nice.
Because that was actually, or I think either last year before the season started, that was one of my knocks. I wrote an article about him. It's like, as it pertains to guys in the red zone, Diggs was not the guy that was consistently winning in the red zone. I mean, obviously scheme played a role, but it's kind of like what you said. We definitely saw a huge jump from previous years to this year, especially him winning in the red zone and whatnot. So
everybody loves the home run play, the splash play, but stemming to what Arif said, his favorite catch, some of both Thielen and Diggs put on a pure display of just art almost with their route running and technique and release off the line, and they end up being on the box score a 7-yard catch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody ever talks about it again. But when you go back and watch a film like we do, I think that's when you really gain a true appreciation for how good both these guys are.
What's actually crazy about that? Because it's not like in training camp or OTAs. They were spending all this time with Case Keenum, so it's like, it's not like like, okay, well, we're used to this guy. This is what he's going to be doing all year long. So it's like they already innately had that ability to just track the ball constantly and just, I don't know. I'm the person that's going to get the ball more times than not.
It's wild, dude.
Speaking of, Keenum's in a pretty good situation in Denver. Demarius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Cortland Sutton.
Now.
You think
They
that's
drafted
great?
a running back, too?
Royce.
Yeah. And they really like D'Angelo Henderson, I think his name is.
Yeah, maybe.
Coastal Carolina last year.
They might like him, but they also drafted running back. So
Also, something I like is finishing up our top 3 in hour 2. We'll
Andy's
do that.
just trying to move us.
Also, phone calls and your tweets and I don't know, talk about royal wedding. Who knows? All right, so finishing up the top 10. We got 3 spots left. So Linval, Joseph, come on down. You're in the 3 hole. I had him at 2. Yinka and Arif had him at 5. Luke had him at 4. What do you guys hate Linval so much?
I mean,
He's the straw that stirs the drink.
He was my second highest defensive guy, just because I think he's so integral to the Vikings defense. Like up front, he's the guy that I'm expecting to disrupt everything. Take on double teams, free things up for Kendricks. Just he's going to command that double team, and I think he's definitely gotten better as a pass rusher to kind of create that pressure up the middle, which I think you're seeing. It's definitely helping Jefferson Griffin and Danielle Hunter to collapse pocket a little bit more so. So I had him as my second ranked defensive guy, even if he was only 5 on my list.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Nose tackles just don't get a lot of love. I mean, it's ironic because arguably you take Linval out, and we've seen it before.
The Seahawks game was pretty bad.
I was just going to say Seahawks. And we were missing Harrison Smith. We were missing Anthony Barr. But you saw it up front first with Linval, being able to manhandle not just 2 guys, but 3 guys sometimes. So such an important part, like you mentioned already, not to sound too redundant, but such an important part to what Mike Zimmer wants to do when he can free up his other chess pieces, specifically Anthony Barr in the second tier and Harrison Smith in the third tier with all their versatility. So, yeah, Linval, man, he's just that damn good.
That's insane. So Henry Thomas, sort of unsung hero, nose tackle.
Hardware Hank.
Yeah, next to John Randall, 93.5 sacks. No love, no whatever. Warren Sapp only has 96.5.
We've got a piece on Henry Thomas over at ZoneCovers.com from a year ago in the Underrated Vikings series.
Yeah.
And who was it who retweeted it? And we all
Well, he retweeted it.
That's right. Yeah.
Ed White retweeted the Ed White piece.
Yeah.
There's one more, I think. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. Now, it was. I don't want to diminish him too much. It was a little bit easier for nose tackles to get sacks with what the Vikings were doing then. But yeah, that's incredibly impressive. The reason I had Linval right, it was number 3, right?
You had him at 5.
We both had him at 5.
Oh, okay.
Is this what you're doing now?
Yeah.
You guys taking off his headset and just talking into the mic.
Jesus, that
My ears hurt, man.
so ridiculous.
Oh, I can turn him down, bud.
No. I'm saying literally the.
Well, so the problem is now the mic is moving back and forth.
Oh, can you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll just be
Just
quiet.
Yinka, are these $200 headsets not good enough for you?
They're not.
He wants earbuds. I want earbuds.
I'm very Prince-like, so.
Yeah, so anyway, the reason I had Linval below Xavier Rhodes and Harrison Smith is because he does get off the field on third downs, and so there's a ceiling to how effective he can be, but like the 2 of them mentioned, he's really important on first and second down. He creates favorable third down situations, and the Vikings defense is predicated off of treating punts as turnovers, forcing them to punt as often as possible, and Linval puts them into really difficult situations, puts offenses in really difficult situations. So he's really important, but the fact that he's not a 3-down player makes him not have quite the impact in my mind as
Work for
Harrison
Adrian.
Smith and Xavier Rhodes.
He was used a little bit more in third down situations this season, right?
Yep.
A little bit, not a ton.
Not a ton,
but I
just a
think a
little
lot
bit
of
more
it has to do with like the active defensive tackles the Vikings have.
Producer of the show, you got to watch Yinka's levels a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's because he's like. right
Yeah, but
on the money.
you can manipulate.
It's already down. It's already down. I'm looking at his levels right now.
Yinka fixed it. It's figured it out.
Yeah, it's fixed. Here, I'm gonna turn down.
Numero 2 at the deuce spot, Kirk Cousins. I had him at 3. Yinka and Arif had him at the numero uno spot. Luke had him at 9.
I might have effed that one up. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Yeah. Well, no,
quarterback.
Let me get. No, absolutely. Of course. He should be in the top 10.
Okay, so
what's be in the top
bigger blunder? Yinka forgetting Anthony Barr or
you forgot
You
a
just
guy
forgot him.
I forgot a player though.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty big.
Forgot a
guy,
Pro Bowl
too,
player
yeah.
on the team.
Yeah. No, it's the new, and I did this with Sheldon too. Like Kurt, no matter what, whether you have 1 or 3, he's got to be in your top 5. I downed him a couple spots, and yes, I will say too far because of the new surroundings. There's that question mark of you'd never know what you're going to get until you see it first with the new surroundings, the new digs, and everything else. And I know we're all expecting Kirk Cousins to be the guy he was in Washington, but until you actually see it, there's always a few question marks in the back of your mind. But Kirk Cousins, certainly, I F this one up for sure. Kirk Cousins should be in everybody's top 5. But at the end of the day, yeah, probably because of the position he plays, like Arif said, should be number 1.
We should go get those Nashville wings again. So Cousins came in at 2 in our consensus ranks. Numero uno. Number 1 with a bullet. So Trey Waynes, I had him 1. Yinka had him 1 as well. Arif 1. No, it's fine. Harrison Smith, I had him 1. Yinka 4. Arif 2. And Luke Duke number 1 as well. So Harrison Smith,
baby,
56 total points. Pretty convincing win.
Such a stud.
I mean, I had him 3, 2?
2.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna knock him too much, right? It's just
2.
Yeah, right. You're gonna do you? Why do you?
Outside of Earl Thomas, is probably best safety in the league.
I'm just saying. This is the email we got. Email me your top 15 current Vikings in terms of importance to the squad. Quarterback, number 1. That's it. That's all I can say. But
see, I skimmed that. I didn't read those details. That one sentence Andy made me read.
Yeah, right.
Which quarterback would you want, or which player would you want to have a beer with? That's how we ranked him.
But yeah, Harrison Smith and Earl Thomas are unique among, and maybe Malcolm Jenkins, are unique among high-level safeties in terms of their importance to the squad. I think that if you take a look at really other high-level safeties, even if you go all the way back to like Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed, Eric Weddle, Eric Berry, I think they're maybe more talented. I don't know. I mean, Harrison Smith's really talented. Maybe they're more talented, but I don't think they were as important to the way the defense was run, or just in general. Just because safeties, when they're removed so far from the ball, have less of an ability to impact plays. They tend to have an impact on deep balls and stuff like that. But Earl Thomas, widened the range for his middle of the field coverage, which allows the cover 3 to operate with such little room. And Harrison Smith plays all over the field, like you mentioned earlier. He's an edge rusher. He's a great run stuffer. He's one of the best force players in the league. If you combined Earl Thomas, one of the best free safeties in the NFL, and Rashad Jones, maybe the best strong safety in the NFL, you have Harrison Smith. It's just absurd. So he can play any position. He can be anywhere. And quarterbacks and offenses have to change what they're doing based off of where he is. So he's extraordinarily important, even though he's a safety.
And the thing is, too, it's not just that he can play or line up anywhere. It's that he plays at the same Pro Bowl or All-Pro level at every position or at every tier of the defense. Whether he's, blitzing out the edge and tackles Danny Woodhead one-handed in the backfield on a jet sweep, or is playing center field. Yeah, playing center field in Lambeau, picking off Aaron Rodgers. The guy is not just able to line up and be versatile. He's able to play at a Pro Bowl level no matter where he's at. There's no weakness. He doesn't, you don't see his game slip a little bit. Oh, he's in center field. Oh, okay, he's not quite as good. No, he's just good everywhere.
I think we talked about this before, but I love how Harrison Smith would lead the NFL if they calculated tackles by random body parts. Like, how many scapula tackles does he have?
Right.
Where, like, the running back has a head of steam, and then he just like whacks him across the thigh pads with his forearm. Is like, oh yeah, we're down.
Right.
I love the fact that a couple years ago, Colin Kaepernick just kind of gave up after he just destroys him. Colin's like, you know, done. He sees Harrison Smith coming at him.
Like, no, I'm not here for this.
I'm good, bro.
Brandon Marshall said that this was like years ago, back when he was with the Bears. Brandon Marshall said Harrison Smith is the hardest hitting safety he's ever played against. Like, that's just wild to me.
Dude.
And that's when he was like, that was like Harrison Smith's second year in the league.
I remember that game. He picked Cutler off that game in the red zone, right on the sideline, a little tiptoe on the sideline. I believe we ended up losing that game anyways, but a classic at Soldier Field, back and forth type of game, which you love to have Harrison Smith on your side.
Yeah, that signature hit, which is going to play on Harrison Smith's Hall of Fame thing, when he smacked Kaepernick on the sidelines. Like,
wow.
That's the reason Cap took a knee after all that time. He's like,
Real quick, you guys saw the new rule, right?
Yeah, we're just going to segue.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so NFL owners have their jabroni meetings, and they're setting up their...
Do you want to talk about this with this caller?
Sure, why not? What are we feeling tonight?
We did say summertime, so I mean,
How about just any Will Smith Get Jiggy With It, that album. That album.
Big
Anything.
Willie style.
Big Willie style.
or you could play Will Smith's new freestyle that he had.
No.
You didn't like it?
It's what I would just rather have something Big Willie style or Millennium oriented.
Millennium.
Any of those are outstanding.
I had this question before the NFC title game. Does Will Smith count as a Philadelphia rapper?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he above or below Meek Mill?
Above.
Way above.
I don't even know, I don't even know what criteria you would evaluate him. Like, if it's a better pure rapper, yes. More successful, holy crap, yes. Like,
Agreed.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's our little situation here. I have a list of a couple of summertime refreshing beverages to wet your whistle, which you just don't do anymore. Like, no one has whistles anymore. This ain't the 1920s. But I will throw out a beverage, and then you tell me which current Minnesota Viking best resembles that drink, best emulates that drink, best takes on that form in human football form.
So I'm going to be really good at the non-alcoholic ones.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I threw in like 2 non-alcoholic ones for you guys. So here we go. First off, Budweiser Freedom Reserve Red Lager. It inspired by George Washington's hen pan recipe for beer. America. Yeah. So Budweiser Freedom Reserve Red Lager. Who we got on the Vikings?
Nobody says America more than B-Rob on that boat.
Oh, for sure.
4th of July.
Wow.
okay, yeah.
4th of July, fishing with those David Duval Oakleys.
Yeah.
I was going to pick Adam Thielen, but Brian Robinson's way better.
B-Rob and
running away with it. Yeah.
Like Hogan on Thunder Force, or whatever that Thunder Paradise.
Thunder
was that
Paradise,
show?
yeah.
With the American flag on the boat, just going. I can see B-Rob just owning that one.
I feel like retirement B-Rob is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Like, give him a show on Spike. Is Spike still a thing? Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I would love to be his son-in-law.
No, have Rodney Adams
doing today?
film a Brian Robinson vlog. Oh, yeah, because he needs work. Next up, a little sex on the beach action, which apparently I don't know what was in it, but it's vodka, cranberry juice, peach schnapps, and pineapple juice. Actually, sounds pretty good. Actually, Luke, you should know this.
Yep, and they throw a little creamer in there as well.
Yeah.
A little creamer.
They throw a little creamer on top, give it a little visual display. It's pretty good, dude. Pretty good.
All right, so sex on the beach. Who we got?
Harrison Smith comes to mind.
Nah, that doesn't feel right.
No, that's just sex anywhere.
He's a little too gritty.
It would have been Cordell Patterson, right?
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. I think more along the lines
Ever
of
seen
Flash
Griffin?
and less along the lines of maybe.
No, there is a certain diva-ness to
Yeah,
it.
right.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
maybe
Stephon
Stephon.
Diggs.
I could see it, Stephon.
No, Diggs is a little bit. Cordero and Diggs are definitely real different. Like, Diggs is like, he's saying something like kind of flirty, but he's like kind of humble with it. Whereas
Right.
Cordero is like,
Just out there.
yeah, he's just saying
Goon
something.
squad.
He wants to be
Goon
Mr.
squad.
Steal Your Girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Who on the Vikings?
Diggs
is like
wouldn't
that?
watch sand on his Gucci shoes.
How about
though.
Wayne's?
No.
The exact opposite.
No.
So I'm not.
That's like saying Eric Hendricks, man. Like, it doesn't work.
On the same wavelength here.
Do we
Okay.
have that on the team anymore?
I feel like Zimmer would not mesh with that player.
I would say maybe Sendejo.
Yeah, let's actually just go with Sendeo,
There we
who's
go.
also gritty, but loves his biceps. So.
Yeah.
He likes his body.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say so.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, during sex, he takes a push-up break. Hold on, I got to get plyometrics in.
You got to nowadays.
Don't worry about it. Next up,
And my Fitbit went off. I have to.
I have to take this.
next up in Vikings as summer beverages, some lemonade, fresh squeezed,
What kind?
real
Like
sugar,
Fresh squeeze.
like homemade.
Homemade lemonade.
Fresh
Oh,
squeeze
Adam.
lemonade.
Adam?
What? Who
Just
else?
clean, crisp, old
Yeah, Adam
school.
Thielen's a good one.
Yeah, I guess.
Not a lot of flashy ingredients.
Well,
Just
who's a Viking who doesn't drink that we know is a teetotaler?
Cousins.
Cousins doesn't drink. I'm pretty
Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Cousins
I
would be a
thought
good
that's why I
choice.
thought Cousins at first when you said Adam Thielen.
Rudy, maybe.
No, Cousins would be Arnold Palmer. I feel like that.
Yeah,
that'd be his jam.
that's such a
Yeah.
that's a
oh
good
my
one.
god, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
Lemonade.
who's a better candidate for just classic lemonade than Adam? Because I'm open to the idea that these people exist.
Cheryl
Rudy's the
could be
only
another
I
one.
got.
Yeah, Trey
Cheryl-
Waynes.
I could see
Trey Waynes.
Cheryl's.
Cheryl's is refreshing.
He
every
is, he is
time.
refreshing.
Every time you got him.
Waynes.
Consistent. You know, he's gonna
Yep.
do what he needs to do.
Yep.
No, see,
I think Adam's still a better candidate, but I do
Okay.
think Wayne's and Cheryl's were good to bring up.
Are we also assuming that? Because
we're getting into it, man.
Because like I'm assuming the lemonade is the like same type across the board. So it's like because sometimes you drink lemonade, it's too watery. Sometimes you drink it's too like sugary, whatever the case is.
Yeah, no,
So
this assumes a consistent,
Yes,
clean, clear,
across the
crisp,
board.
satisfying lemonade.
Okay, then
Yeah.
Adam Thielen's fine. Then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Clean.
I feel like Riley Reef would be lemonade, except then he'll just show up with like a handle of black velvet whiskey.
right.
Yeah, it's a very, very Iowa thing. Like, so I lived in Iowa for a couple years, and like honestly, they should put it on the state flag, which I don't even know what it is, but a black velvet and Pepsi, where it's like it's not even. It's like you intentionally went the opposite of everything Jack and Coke, and just went black velvet and Pepsi. That's what we're all. Yeah. Next up, Corona with lime.
Corona with the lime.
Everson.
So what's the mentality here?
Is it, the idea there is that he drank it on the beach or what?
Yeah, what's the criteria there?
I just feel like someone who
I like Everson. Actually,
Really
the more I
get-
think about it,
Wait,
I
hold
do
on.
agree.
someone who probably really gets into Cinco de Mayo but isn't an asshole about it.
Sendeo.
No,
We already
know.
used it.
no,
I know.
We already used
What
him.
about Gideon? I feel like
Oh, yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, he throws down.
Yep.
That's true.
He
I
just
could
calls
see-
everyone
He looks
senor.
more of the tequila guy.
Yeah, I
but
could. See, yeah, no, that's
I'll
true.
put him down.
I'm gonna go with Everson on this one.
Mac Alexander.
No, he works too
We
hard.
got to save him. Okay.
He's
too
way
hard.
too
He works too
Yeah,
way too much, which I like.
I feel like a Corona Lime is either the most chill beverage possible or the beginning of some absolutely the
just-
opposite.
Do you
Right.
Do you like the commercials where they're like, there's the cart in the airplane and they hand you one and they pretend they're on the beach or whatever? Do you know what I'm talking about?
no,
Corona
but every
commercials are all
Corona.
kind
Yeah, I
of
was about to say, but they're all the same.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, how much they stretch the. Yeah, you'll feel like you're relaxing on the beach.
Yeah.
Like, no one who's sitting in a little airplane seat. Yeah.
Have you ever had a loaded Corona? So what you do is you take a bottle of Corona and you take a sip or two out of it, and then you refill it with a Bacardi Limon.
Oh, baby.
wow.
Like, if you want to go out and win the GD day, that's how you roll. It's pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
I like Andy's point that a Corona is either chill, that's what you're gonna have for the
Or
rest
you're
of the
getting
night,
wrecked.
or this is
do
pre-gaming.
you guys like Pacifico or Corona better?
Pacifico.
Yeah, I'm
really
I'm a
good.
better.
Prelude
You
to
like Dos
Armageddon.
Equis as well? Dos Equis?
I like Dos Equis, yeah.
Modelo is pretty
Yeah.
good, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Modelo, the Especial, the light one.
Yes. Yes.
It's good. Someone's not good. So Gatorade.
What?
No, hold on. Gatorade, you left in a hot
Sure.
car, but it's so thirsty, you chug it because it tastes amazing.
Trey Waynes.
Jesus.
Or Laquan.
Trey Waynes.
Laquan?
Yeah.
Any one of those
Well,
three.
Quan
I
would
like
be-
Cheryl's because
Yeah.
he's good.
Good.
Yeah.
He's actually good.
Where it's
And
like
it is good.
It's good, but not under the circumstances.
Right. Yeah.
Well, right. Well, he doesn't have the height, the weight, the speed, but it's good at the end of the day.
I still
You're
think
going to take
it-
him at the end of the day.
Well, okay. So
Because like we kind of knew, like, some knew Laquan was going to be like this.
Okay, so I mean, like, we would be essentially making the argument that this player would succeed more somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
I think it's Laquan.
No, he's just bad.
No, I think it's Trey Waynes. You have to say Trey Waynes then.
Well,
I'd say Waynes
is
or
only
Sherrills.
succeeding here.
Well,
What are you talking about?
I mean, you couldn't see him in Seattle.
Oh, actually, no, he's better built for Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's go Trey Waynes.
All right, Trey Waynes, you are the what flavor of Gatorade?
Blue or red.
Wait,
go blue.
doesn't the yellow one last better in the warmth?
Yeah, both yellow
Probably.
and white. I think last.
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Popular Mechanics didn't really test that one out. I think he would be lemon lime because that's like the most basic, boring.
Because there's a purple one that I'd stay away from. It's only purple.
Oh yeah.
Actually, let's go around. What's your favorite Gatorade flavor?
Green.
Green.
I would say red. Yeah.
That light blue.
Ooh.
The Arctic,
I just
whatever.
said
Yeah, that
Not
one's
the
good.
dark. Yeah, not
Glacier Hump.
Like Arctic
I
Freeze.
go
yes.
green.
Yeah. Really good. Green, huh?
I just like straight up orange.
Orange is
Really?
good.
It's not bad.
I
Orange
kinda
isn't
like
bad.
Dark blue though.
Orange
It
isn't
has
bad.
to
You
be
like the
cold.
dark one?
It
Yeah.
has to be cold.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. Good night,
All right.
everyone.
See you guys. Take care.
We got 5 left. Margarita. Little tequila. Little triple sec.
Ooh.
Lime.
I could see that being Kendrick's.
You
See,
know,
I thought that was Everson.
I got.
Margarita? No?
How about Terrence Newman?
What's the mentality
Is a
here, guys?
classic.
Yeah.
Just a classic.
Wait, is Terrence
Hold on,
Newman-
is wine on the list?
No, I just
No,
looked.
Terrence Newman
right
would
now.
be.
Right.
So now he's good to
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Margarita.
Well, we should just add wine and then say that's Terrence Newman.
We have to.
Sangria. Terrence Newman.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That is an alcoholic drink I have tried, guys.
Congrats.
Nice,
Thank
dude.
you.
Is that
First
hair on your chest, dude?
what? First alcoholic drink was sangria. So
Was it really?
It was.
What'd you think?
Yeah.
Because most people don't like their alcoholic drinks right away.
I don't.
Shout out to Daniel House, who killed his 21st birthday, though.
Yeah.
He
So-
pounded those angry
Relatively speaking.
and those honey vices down.
House has probably had more alcoholic drinks than I have.
He had
by
a
the
Long
way.
Island at the end, too.
Yeah, just
he?
from that night.
Yeah.
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 Was he?
He
just-
was surprised
Burrito
at the
Loco.
Long Island. He was like, "Wait, is
was.
this alcoholic?" We were like, "Daniel."
Yeah, we took a shot at tequila because we were at Burrito Loco, too. And what did he do? I'll never forget it. The most iconic thing Daniel House could do right after he took his first shot of tequila, he started rowing the boat.
Yeah.
I love it.
Burrito Loco.
I love it.
After we might have hit the Adult Gentleman Club and had plenty of other drinks in the
you
night.
know-
It was a great cherry.
He's at the Gentleman's Club, Rowan.
You know,
Play
when,
it back.
when House runs for governor, like, we're going to get a lot of money to take this down.
to take all the dirt down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably do it. Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, sorry, Dan. Sorry, Danny.
I'd vote for him. He'd be independent.
yeah.
Yeah, I would spill right for the money, and then I'd probably end up voting for him.
Classic of Minnesota, because it's basically the only state where you can get it. Mick Golden Lake.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Michelob
So a
Golden Lake.
local boy, maybe. Again,
Yeah.
Cheryl's, AT,
CJ Ham.
CJ
I would think
Ham.
it's
CJ Ham would be a hams, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we throw hams in there, too, then?
Yeah, sure.
Ham, CJ Ham. Okay, cool.
Let's do one for every player.
Wait, so what did we pick for Adam? Lemonade, right?
Oh,
So if we pick Michelob Golden for Adam, we have to go back and reselect Lemonade.
correct.
And who would I had Cheryl's. I thought we picked Cheryl's for lemonade.
No, we picked Adam.
Oh, we did.
Because he's a Chris Prout runner.
Yeah, Mick Golden's like
So Cheryl.
that's stealing.
Yeah,
So
I think that's a
Cheryl's
better
then.
Yeah.
fit. For Lemonade,
Yeah, why not?
yeah,
That's why I asked if it was the
Yeah.
consistency is right across the board.
that's fair. Okay, yeah. Cheryl's Lemonade, Mick Golden, Adam.
Cheryl's limited McGolden. I like it.
You can go
I'm
with
in.
that. Yeah.
I'm in.
Next up is all right. So this is a little bit off the menu. Beats by Dre. BEETS.
So like a
the vegetable.
juice.
Yeah.
Like a who's the juicer?
Hey, here's what's in it. Old Ipswich Whitecap rum. So rum. 1 ounce beet molasses. You got lime juice. You got bitters, and you got a lot of bitters.
I bet that could taste really good, actually.
Yeah. So you got rum
That's-
and beets.
But that's like weird.
Who's the Dwight Schrute of the team?
So I was thinking this, like
The what?
Dwight Schrute.
Newman would be a Manhattan, right?
Beers.
Like I think of a drink like that, and this sounds.
Let's just pick someone who's weird. Ben Gedeon, next.
No, I've
He's
heard.
weird. Have you
I've
seen his
heard. I've
Insta?
heard he's really smart, but he is a little bit weird.
Who's in shape?
body
Like,
or Denny
who's-
Ball?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I've heard he's really awkward.
Sure, but we know Ben Gedeon is
How about
weird.
Weatherly? Because this seems like a very smart cocktail, like a highbrow one.
Like a trying too hard cocktail?
Yeah.
I could, yeah.
This is a 9-instrument.
This is a trying too hard cocktail?
It might be. Wait, how many ingredients are there?
6.
Not enough for Stephen Weatherly.
Correct.
I think
9 instruments he plays. He needs 9 ingredients.
Yeah, right. You need the cocktail to be overly complicated. I'm sticking with Gideon because this is like a weirdo has to dream this up.
How about David Perry?
I don't know anything about him.
I don't either.
Well, are we not going to pick
Chris
Kyle Sloter at all?
Chris Cluey.
Kyle Sloter needs
Chris
to be
Cluey.
picked.
He's coming back.
Oh, actually, no. I got a perfect one for Kyle Sluter. Aspen Curd, which is 5 scoops of ice cream and bourbon.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's how you don't poop for 3 weeks.
Speaking from experience. Tom Schreier, Don't Poop Podcast. Don'tcovers.com.
I like that for Sluter because of the name, and also it feels like it works.
Also, I feel like this is the only way that Mike Zimmer eats ice cream.
Yeah, that's totally right.
Yeah, goes to the DQ. Yeah, give me the Aspen Curd. Just like
No, he brings his own bourbon and pours it in.
Give me the old Eskin.
Made this myself.
What brand of bourbon do you think Zimmer drinks?
I just told you he makes it himself.
In his bathtub.
He
Doesn't necessarily wash it out.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, he's got stills up in Zimmerland Ranch.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Can you imagine? That would burn out at some point.
What do you think
great.
manages his ranch way up there? Is this like family, or do you think he
Brett Favre.
My guess is family.
plays people?
No, they have to be farm hands.
Farm hands.
Yeah.
So he's only there for like what, a month out of the year, if that.
Yeah. And last up, the classic mint julep. A little bit of bourbon, lime juice, and mint.
We need somebody who's like deep south then.
Deep south, but also very hoity-toity.
Yeah. Which that really which I guess actually Stephen Weatherly, right? Like that kind of works
Yeah,
there.
Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Not Rose.
No, Florida doesn't count.
Okay.
Which really limits the sample.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, Treadwell has time at Oxford.
Yeah. But like I kind of like mint juleps.
So not Jeremy.
It has to be the South, but it can't. Oh wait,
Jarius.
Jarius.
R.I.P.
Yeah, go.
Oh yeah, right. Oh,
Come on, man.
Can't
Take that audio clip.
I'm just saying Arkansas.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What about Dave Morgan? Texas isn't really
Texas,
South, though.
Texas and
No,
Florida
it's-
don't count.
It's different.
Blake
Yeah.
Bell. Yeah, whatever.
No. Does it have to be Weatherly? Like, now I have to go through the roster.
Linval, big cowboy hat, big 10-gallon cowboy hat.
I feel like Linval
Where's Linval from?
is a good like Linval. Just give him like 2 Bud Light tall boys, like the 24-ouncers. Yeah.
East Carolina, but born in the Virgin Islands. So not the mint julep.
No. He'd be a rum guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mint julep. I'm looking, man.
I really like rum in the summer.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
Sandeo.
Do you
Can we use it
straight
again?
rum or you rum
No,
and
we
Coke?
can't use Sandeo
just
again.
Third
Rum
time?
and Coke.
Because we can't use Delvin.
How
either.
about
Yeah.
how about Daniel Carlson? Whatever.
I love how deep in the roster we are.
We're deep, man. I don't know what you guys want to do here. It's up to you.
Deep right now.
If we're working this hard, let's just go with the first name that came to mind, Stephen Weatherly.
Okay.
All right, Weatherly, you got the mint julep. I don't know what we accomplished there, but we had some fun doing it. It's off season.
There we go.
That's how we roll. Listen to Hour 2.